the number one thing that you want to first do is identify the placement within the market. And is it the first thing that's launched on the platform or in the ecosystem or in a market specifically? For example, you have Degen Apes on Solana art. That is definitely not the first thing on the Solana ecosystem, but it is the first successful project on Solana art. And that is the marketplace, main marketplace other than Degen Eyes for Solana. So that's why this is pretty successful. Also, you have things like AVAX Apes. This is the first successful launch on AVAX compared to, there was another launch on AVAX. Can't remember the exact name, but that was the first launch. This is the most successful and first launch. It's also pretty cheap. Floor is currently 9.5. I've caught myself a couple. Not financial advice. You have Immutable X. This is in the ETH ecosystem, and it's also pretty good. They've got no gas fees, so zero gas fees. Zero gas fees, yeah. So it's also instant trade, etc., etc. It's a pretty cool marketplace. Pretty much anything on here could blow up, considering it's the first thing on here. So like Moody Crows is a 0.8 floor, maybe 0.9 or 0.82. That's pretty good. I saw it at 0.49. I slept on it. Unlucky. That's all right. But I do have an Astro Bros. Astro Bros is kind of good, kind of cheap at the moment. 0.3 floor, 0.28. Fair enough. I caught myself a couple at 0.06 during mint. So it wasn't too bad, but you should definitely consider checking out these different ecosystems. Literally being the first people on an ecosystem buying an NFT, because as soon as that coin or that ecosystem flies up in price or moons, the NFTs under it will moon probably higher, in my opinion. Because everything under it, like there's like the top, and then you got like the extensions, the bridges. So you got like AVAX, and then you have the sub ecosystems like the gaming coins, altcoins, things like that, and then you have like the NFTs. So if you invest at the bottom, it's a higher risk obviously, but it has a higher reward too. Number 2 will be utility. This is very important when it comes to blue chips, because you want to make sure that the longevity of the project will be successful. So for example, you want passive yield from your NFT, you want airdrops from your NFT, you want private communities, gated communities that give you private access to, you know, information that you wouldn't get normally being in a public community, being in a normal Discord, things like that. For example, you can obviously try and get into cyberkongs. The floor is currently 160 ETH. That's very expensive for many people. But you can also get into galactic apes. That's pretty cheap at the moment. They will be doing drops. That's big utility. Service missions, which is almost like passive yield, which is pretty good if you, in my opinion. You should definitely look into your NFT, make sure there's utility behind it. Otherwise, the longevity of the project isn't that successful, because a profile picture will potentially die instantly, but if it has utility and there's interest in the project, then the project will most likely continue to rise as the diamond hands keep holding. For example, in Becca's and Elio Traits NFT, it was very successful because there's a lot of utility behind it. Well, it hasn't launched just yet, but there is already a community of 2,000, I think 2001 people that have the NFT, and they have access to a community, a gated community, a private community that can contribute and make alpha decisions and alpha calls. That's what I'm into. That's what I'm into. Most people will hold an NFT if there is a private community behind it that make them more money than how much the NFT would actually make if you just sell it straight off. Like the capital that you would gain from just selling the NFT is less than the capital that you would gain when being in that community and like contributing and also buying and selling based on the alpha calls, things like that. Number 3 is going to be uniqueness. How unique is the project that you're looking into? Does it do something special? Like, for example, Punkscapes. Very unique thing. They were doing Twitter banners and Discord banners. This is probably done before, but this is more successful just because of the effort that was put into this. This is a solo dev, I'm pretty sure. I bought into this project around mint, actually. So like 0.03. I bought like 2. And now it's currently going at 0.09. The floor did go up because cyberkongs also caught onto it, things like that. Yeah, it went up to 0.24 floor, which is pretty good. I sold one of them, so I flipped it for a good profit. But if you're looking for a longevity project that you want to hold, a blue chip, obviously, look into things like this. Something that's doing things that are unique, that haven't been done before. Like Punkscapes, you know, the Twitter banners, they haven't been done before. Successfully at least. So you want to make sure that you get into a project that's doing something unique, but also make sure that they can execute it. Make sure that they can do it very well. Otherwise, there's no point because it'll just flop, you know? You need good marketing, you need good devs, things like that. Make sure you can do that. You do your research. Another example of this is Floaties. Obviously, this project hasn't done too well, but it is kind of unique. because as time goes on, your actual floaty will age. So that means that the NFT will actually change over time. This is kind of like a malleable NFT. I'm not sure like a customized NFT. I'm not sure the exact name of it, but over time your NFT will actually age, which is pretty cool. Pretty good aspect into this. I haven't seen this done before just yet, but obviously this is not a successful project because, you know, sometimes you need good marketing, you need a lot more things than just uniqueness. This all collates into one good NFT project. You want to make sure you have utility, uniqueness, you know, placement in the market, things like that. A little bonus tip for everyone that stuck around to the end of the video. If you're looking for a quick flip, not necessarily a blue chip, I'd recommend looking into projects that have a bit of volume increases every so often. So obviously you can see here Galactic Apes, then a bit of volume over here, then, you know, consolidation period, all the holders holding, and then a big burst of volume, you know, 560 sold, 1,500 ETH, pretty good. Then the volume decreases again. These are very healthy and very good. If you want to get in at the dip and then sell at the highs, that is actually probably a very profitable thing. 1.1 ETH if you were to buy it here, and then you would have sold it for 2.8 ETH. That is almost a 1.7 ETH profit, which is around, you know, upwards of $6,000. Oh no, $5,000 for the US citizen, and then for me, $8,000. So that's pretty good. Just make sure you do your research, look at the charts, see if there's volume. If there's good volume spikes, there's interest in the project, and then there's a good point to get in when the consolidation period is going on and it's about to spike up again.